That's Daddy. I
Too close.
Okay, are we on?
We're on.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, May 15th. I think I have the date right this time. Last Friday, I was losing track of the days. I was having some technical difficulties, so my daughter is recording me, and I hope she is able to help out. I hope her arms don't get tired. So we'll get started so that we can finish, because I know she's doing her best to hold the phone for me. I hope you can hear me. Girls, can you see any comments or anything?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Just want to make sure that I'm on and that we're working. So again, happy Friday. It's May 15th. And we are now at the middle of the month. So we've made it halfway through May. All right. Today, the book that I'm going to read is called Ada Twist, Scientist. And it's about this little girl who loves to ask questions and drove her parents crazy because she just was so inquisitive, which means that she always wondered about things. All right, so here we go. Ada Twist, Scientist by Andrea Betty, illustrated by David Roberts. All right, so girls, just help. Can you still see? Okay, thank you. Here we go. Ada Marie said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world but not making a sound. So for 3 years, she was just watching the world around her. She learned how to climb and made her big break with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day chasing each sound and sight, and didn't slow down till she conked out at night. She's a very active child, observing, playing with all of her toys. Her parents were frazzled, but tried not to freak, as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. So look at her, she's thinking, looking at the numbers, wondering lots of things, and her parents are wondering what's happening. She was very quiet. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath and she simply asked, "Why?" So she started to speak. She started to ask questions about her world. Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside of your nose? She started with why, and then what, how, and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child, who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." So lots of questions. Why, what, how, when. She's very curious about the world. Still good, girls?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. Look at all of her questions. Why does it? Why does it? How does it? How? When will it? Will it be the same? What is it for? What does it do? Lots of questions. That's what good scientists do. They ask lots of questions. Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. Look at her experimenting with water bottles and different colors inside each bottle, and she has all these paints and food colors. So even her teacher is trying to figure out what's going on. Is it okay, girls? Yeah, you need some help? Lucy?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, girls. If you get tired, pass it to Vivi, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, parents and students, for your patience. Ada was busy that first day of spring, testing the sounds that make mockingbirds sing, when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie," said Ada, which got her to thinking, what is the source of that terrible stinking? How does a nose know there's something to smell? And does it still stink if there's no nose to tell? She'd start at the start where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. So she always has all these tools and things around her, experimenting, tinkering. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both the stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. She's trying to figure out what stinks. So look at that. She has some goggles on and she's testing the smells of Dad's cabbage stew. She has all these materials here like scientists would. Then, zowie! The stink struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2, it's caused by the cat. Oh, yucky, stinky. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop!" She was going to put the cat in the washer. We don't do that to our pets, do we? Ada Marie, to the thinking chair now. By the time we count to 3. Uh-oh, she's in trouble. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why? Ada questioned. Her mother said, no. What? Ada queried. Her father said, go. You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. She was just being a scientist, right? Oh no, but her parents got frustrated with her. She was making a big mess. She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. Can you see that? All by herself. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat, and she thought about science and Stu and the cat and how her experiments made such a big mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? She never did figure it out, did she? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question and then she asked 2. And each of those led to her 3 questions more, and some of those questions resulted in 4. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why, and then what, how, and when. At the end of the hall, she reached why once again. So there she goes again, asking more questions. She is still curious. She is still wondering where that smell's coming from. Her parents calmed down and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bare page could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair now was the great thinking hall. Look at all that thinking on the wall that she did. All her scribbles and thoughts and ideas of where the smell could be coming from. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, "We'll figure it out." I think they're realizing you really can't get mad at her. They have a curious child who's wondering about the world. And that's what they did. Because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and heart that is true. They remade their world. Now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asks lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. So they actually helped her. Look, they built shelves for her to put all of her science materials, and they built this giant, they put this giant scroll of paper here so she could take notes and work on her hypotheses. And as for that smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover the stink that curls toes? Well, that is the question. And someday, who knows? So there she is, and they're all experimenting, trying to figure out what that smell was, because she never did figure it out, did she? All right, and that is the end. And actually, this says that this book, the main character, Ada, comes from 2 scientists. One is Marie Curie, who discovered the elements of polonium and radium. She was a chemist. And the other is Ada Lovelace, who was a mathematician and the very first computer programmer. So that's where Ada Twist comes from. She's a blend of 2 famous women scientists. So I hope you like this, Bobcats. This is a story about always asking questions, being curious about your world. Ask questions like who, what, when, where, why. And hopefully you'll get those answers by doing experiments or reading books. So I hope you enjoy this, Bobcats. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday. Have a good day, Bobcats.
I click finish.
Okay, you can click